Greetings and welcome to the definitive kinetic weapons tier list for AC6. Well, as definitive as it can be, still my opinion, of course. But yeah, with the game seemingly not going to be getting another major update, instead we'll just be waiting till the next game, I figured I'd use my extensive knowledge of the game to formulate some tier lists for the weapons. And to make the tier list as objective as possible and to spice things up, I'll be adding in some extra voices for each weapon category. So in this video, we'll be of course tackling the kinetic weapons, and I've invited my good friend Hollow Berry as he fancies himself a kinetic weapons connoisseur of sorts. Hollow is of course also an AC6 creator and member of the channel. He hosts a lot of PSN PvP lobbies to test and experiment with things, and he live streams it as well, so it's overall a very fun and good time. So feel free to check him out, link in the description of course. And of course, big thank you to Hollow for taking time out of his day to do this little discussion with me. It really means a lot, man. Yeah, and additionally, this video is pretty long, so if you just want the trust me bro version of the tier list without the discussion behind it, here it is. Also, this video isn't much on the visuals, much more of a podcast type thing. So without further ado, I hope you enjoy and learn something indubitably. Peace. Indubitably. Alright, so first, we have the Ransetsu RF. What do you think about the Ransetsu RF?
Ransetsu RF. Ooh, you know, what I think about it is it's an insanely good weapon paired, of course, with its counterpart, the Harris, and also just with another Ransetsu RF.
I see. Yeah, because for the most part, we see, or I've seen a lot in play when it comes to Ransetsu RF. Obviously, it's a very good kiting weapon, not very good at close range, rushdown, or anything like that. It's very solid kiting, as its overall impact and damage is great. Impact especially is super great. Recoil is super low. Yeah, I think it's only like 12 or something like that. Which means you can run this on like a really either budget frame or what I used to see a lot anyway is you could run it with Basho arms. Even those Basho arms have horrible recoil control, and I guess they've been nerfed since then, so it's not super popular to see it anymore. But you can run Basho arms to get high health on your super light kite while using Ransetsus, and then save weight on your arms and then give it to your legs, say elbow legs, and then beefier core around Melander and stuff like that, and VP head, and then you have a really good kite. You also have better shoulder weapons, all that good stuff. Although it has kind of fallen out of practice recently because of its biggest downside being, I guess, its fire rate to a degree, but mainly its bullet travel speed. Its velocity is really slow. So if you're fighting lightweights, all they really need to do is move to the side and just kind of b-hop every now and again, and they'll just fully outpace your bullets for the most part.
Yeah, I actually have to agree with you on that too, Green Knight. I think that where it is a strong weapon and it can definitely be used, it's versatile with its kiting ability, it does lack just in that bullet velocity. As far as on the tier list goes, in my opinion, but we'll put it where you see best. I would say somewhere in like the high B, maybe.
B, yeah. Okay.
As far as weapons go, what do you think?
I kind of agree with that, because what I have for the titling for every grade: S is the best, A is good, B is okay, C is mid, D bad, E trash, F the worst. So when it comes to the Ransetsu, the kind of like rules of thumb I have when it comes to rating weapons, how well does it do in each category? Like, this is a kiting weapon. Is it good in other things? Not really. It's purely just kite. It has a pretty exploitable weakness of the bullet velocity, but it is overall pretty good. I think B-Rig makes sense. Yeah. And if you only have one, you're pretty much cooked. You need to pair it with another or a better rifle like the Harris. Otherwise, you are indeed cooked. All right, what do you think?
Mr. Kurt.
John Curtis.
So, me personally, as far as the weapon design goes, I just want to talk about that for a second. I freaking love the way that it's kind of like you can just pow, pow, pow. You can really just like cowboy this weapon.
Yeah.
It is so much fun to like charge and then shoot and then have another one and charge and then shoot, and you're just doing this really cool like cowboy pistol, like Desert Eagle style attack. And I've tried this on so many builds and always fallen short trying to make this weapon work. But I do think it definitely has some small strengths to it. I don't know. I can never get it to work. What about you?
Yeah. Anytime I have the Curtis or I'm upgrading a build that has it, it always just gets swapped out for something else. It's neat in that its fire rate is really high, which on paper would make it really cool. Thing is, it's a little too high. The recoil ramps up so quickly. It is so hard to use. And at that rate, if you're gonna be like, well, it's fine. It does a lot of impact, high fire rate. I'll just get close and it won't really matter. I'll just spray and pray close range range. That's good. It works. Thing is, you could also just use any other SMG or assault rifle itself, and you'll be accomplishing the same thing while also not being so costly on your E and your weights. Not that it necessarily is super costly, but those Etsujin, Ludlow counterparts or alternatives are just way better anyway, way lighter.
Yeah.
Although you could say, well, with the Curtis, you also have range, kinda, but like then if you're to go range, you might as well have the Harris. So it's kind of like a good mix between a Harris and like an SMG. But because of that being the jack of all trades, master of none thing, it kind of just falls flat against either or, which is really rough.
Yep.
And yeah, the fact that you can spam the charges is nice. Thing is, the impact, much like the Harris, goes down really quickly. Like the initial hit degrades back into a little bit really quickly. So you really need to pair it with a lot. It's really nice if I can see a build being made with it, in where you build up a lot of impacts and then you pop off a charge attack really quickly or over and over to nail them and then rush him with like a melee or something like that. That's gonna be neat. It's just there's so many other weapons that do its job way better. I think overall for ranking, it is a little mid though. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm thinking either
because I kind of see the
a high C or a low B. Yeah. High C, low B is kind of like where I see it, because like you were saying, in my garage, I don't think I haven't really been able to feel confident pulling it even into ranked without feeling like I'm gonna go, with like a 30% win rate. So in my mind, I kind of put it on that C, because it's like I might do it for fun, but if I'm serious, and I would swap it out, like you said.
True. Yeah, honestly, I think C just makes sense. Given it is not that great at range, not that great at close range, it's in the middle. It's a mid C. Here we are, the Big Bertha.
All right, Curtis.
We have the Harris, which I imagine is probably going to be an S. That's how I feel immediately, but we'll discuss it for sure. What do you think about it?
I actually just agree on that. It has to be the S tier, because one, this thing sees so much play in a variety of different play styles. Like you could run this on a boat, you can run this on a wheelchair, you can run it lightweight on like Notch Rider, or you can run it on a Tetra, you could run it on a mid-range, you could run it on a melee build with combinations in the videos that you've covered. You could run, it's just like the most versatile kinetic weapon, because it just gets the job done as far as what you need in a weapon. And it actually shoots pretty good at close to mid-range also, depending on the FCS that you're running, like Abbott or the Oculus FCS. Like that thing can shoot you almost point blank.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, you pretty much said it. This is just an S weapon.
Yeah.
It's great at long range, great at close range. You run it as heavyweight, you run it lightweight, you run it on pretty much anything. Even if you just have one to just snipe at range, it's even good at that. It's just so nice. You can run it in melee combinations. It's just so good.
That's why I think
1000%.
If a weapon can be paired with anything, or just like you can run it solo, it's like that's got to be S. Got to be a good one.
Solid recoil, good damage, great impact, fantastic charge attack. It is just so good.
Yep.
So good.
Easy to use too. Very easy. Sure. Anybody could pick it up.
Maybe even a little too good, all things considered. I wouldn't mind it getting a little nerfed to the recoil to make it a little less versatile, but it is what it is.
For sure.
Now we have the Tanner, John Tanner, next to the blade.
The one I like to call the old Turner Burner.
Turner Burner. All right. Let's go.
The Tanner Turner. All right. So I actually really like the Turner. I think it's kind of the underdog weapon. I've paired this with like double melee builds and won a lot with it. And I've even ran it. I can run it single. It kind of just does its job, which is it keeps damage pretty consistent. And again, I think it has a pretty good recoil. My shots hardly ever drop. So I found this weapon to be kind of a sleeper. I wouldn't say it's like, mind-blowing amazing at anything.
Yeah.
But it definitely, depending on what you pair it up with, like a Ludlow or an Etsujin, or I have recently been tearing up some ranked games with double Turner and double Chang-Chen.
Oh, I see.
On RJ. And it really does, especially if you pair it up with just another one, people don't understand the damage that's coming at them.
Yeah, it does suspicious damage. Its fire rate isn't insane, but its range, damage, and impact is pretty nice, pretty solid. Projectile speed's a little slow next to its not so great fire rate, but yeah, the sneaky damage it can do is pretty nice. It does way more than well, more than any like SMG for the most part. So
yeah, as long as it's in a double trigger build,
pairing it with Etsujin is super good. On Melander arms, there's pretty much no recoil loss, and you're just constant beam at pretty decent ranges while racking up that damage and impact. They work together very well. I think it's a great combo weapon for other machine guns, whether you're playing a kite or a pseudo kite, much like the type of Tanner and an SMG like the Ludlow or Etsujin. That's super good. Double Tanner is also pretty fine. But on its own, just one,
not the greatest.
It's just a great combo weapon, honestly. Like I wouldn't necessarily want to run 2 Turners necessarily. I would always run it with something else, or Tanner Turner. I always run it with something, or pretty much not at all.
Yep.
It's pretty solid.
Yeah, I would agree. I would say it could go again in either like low B to me or C.
I think maybe top of C.
Top of C, yeah.
It's similar to the Curtis in where it's not great on its own. It's not great in every setup, but it is better to be paired with things unlike the Curtis. Curtis is neat, but it's not super great when paired with other things because of its recoil, not really matching much things. Tanner, you can really pair with any other machine gun and just hold down both triggers, and now you have some pretty cool synergies going. So I think top of C makes sense.
All right, top of C we go, Turner. I'm happy with that.
All right, now the Turner's cousin, the Scudder.
The good old Scudder. All right, what do you think of the Scudder, Green Knight?
The Scudder is pretty similar to the Tanner, although I'd like the Tanner better.
Me too.
I'm pretty sure the only like major difference between the two is just the Scudder's, I think, a little better at range, while also having a less fire rate. Probably a little more damage too. Does it? I don't know. They're just so similar. Although I just think of it kind of like the lesser Tanner.
I think that it does have a little bit more damage. It's got a little higher recoil, but the damage is so minuscule that what I always seem to be telling myself is when I go when I'm in the garage and I'm like testing things out, I was like, see, I can't feel the difference. So I'm just gonna stick with the good old Turner.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if a Scudder enthusiast wants to say we're wrong, that's all right. Me personally, I don't have enough experience with it because every time, again, it's just I either go for the Turner over it, or of course like a Harris or something like that. So it's just So I guess with that, I would say put it in D, bad, because like it's not really mid. It has its better counterpart being the Tanner and or Curtis to a degree, so that's our first bad boy. Usable, sure, and you know, it's honestly some of the lesser tiered weapons are almost like encouraged to make a build out of them just to see how they could work and challenge yourself to that degree. So although bad doesn't mean you can't use it. Although if it's an F tier, probably you shouldn't, because you're probably just shooting yourself in the leg. But you know, to each their own. Now the Ransetsu's cousin, the Ransetsu AR.
Oh yeah. All right, Green Knight, what's going on with the Ransetsu AR?
It's just like a lesser Etsujin in my opinion. Like it has more range than an Etsujin, but an Etsujin can work upwards to 190 meters, which is way more than you'll ever need for a close range boy or even a semi-kite boy. Like I have someone in my community, my server, Melons, shout out Melons, who rocks a lot of Etsujin and like Harris on a Kazwar, or not Kazwar, Nacho legs, Nachtreier, with an earshot and stuff like that, a kite. And yeah, kiting with a Harris Etsujin is very solid. So it's not like the Etsujin is bad at range, where the AR, it's kind of bigger counterpart, since they both look like AKs, where just step up in range. So it's just, I think the AR is just, it's like the Ransetsu, except for its burst, less range, and just kind of like the worst Ransetsu, but also just the worst Etsujin. I might be thinking it's another D tier, honestly, because I don't ever really pair it with anything, and I just, it just has, it's a thing where it's not that great, so it would naturally be in like C tier, but it also has counterparts or alternatives that are just like it, but way better. So with that, my opinion is leaning towards D. So yeah, D sounds right.
So D it is. Yeah.
All right, now for a pretty good one. We'll see if it reaches S, but I definitely know it's in the upper echelon. We got the Ludlow.
Okay, the Ludlow.
Which I've been warming up to a lot more recently. I used to be an Etsujin purist, but I've been liking the Ludlow a lot recently. As I've been playing more arms than like Basho, as I used to be. I used to be in a big Basho era because it was just so nice. But I also like melee a lot, so there's that. But now I'm playing around with more like Melander frame, really liking the Melander frame and a lot of different builds lately. And the Melander arms offer so much freedom when it comes to recoil control, which often lets you use things like the Ludlow, which is very similar to the Etsujin, but it has much higher recoil. So what do you think about the Ludlow?
The Ludlow to me is like at least high A in my opinion, because it's like you can pair it and it runs like an S, but without it being paired, if it was to go in S, it would definitely be a low S. That's just because I think Ludlow can go with a lot of great heavy weapons. It can go with it almost replaces your Etsujin now, where Ludlow Harris runs amazing. Ludlow Turner is like I did a video on Ludlow Turner, and I think I ran it with what is that? Shoulder bazooka,
Morley,
not the earshot, Morley. Yeah, I ran it with Morley, and it was just I was winning so much. I think I had like good 80% win rate on that, and I was like, whoa, Ludlow is just really coming through. I see a lot of people run it with the LRB, so you can run it with any LR. You can run it with a Kinetic. You can run it next to a bazooka. I think it's a great weapon. It's really nice. Probably next to the Harris. It's my favorite. It's my favorite machine gun for sure. It's always got a place for me. It's lightweight and you can run it on a lot of arms, a lot of builds. So I feel like I wouldn't even be offended if it landed in like S. I think to me it feels S.
I see. I gotcha. So yeah, I mean, pretty much covered most of it. I would say Ludlow and Etsujin, just as good as one another, except for I feel like the Etsujin is better if you're just using one of them to either combo with another weapon. So if I were to have like Ludlow and a LRB or an LRA, I probably still just want Etsujin, depending, because then I would have to sacrifice less recoil control with my arms overall. But I really do like the Ludlow. Ludlow does pair really well with some stuff, but on its own, if I would just have the one, it would always be the Etsujin. And the Etsujin is just as good as the Ludlow, and then a little bit better in that single category. But the fire rate is pretty nice. So if you do have a weapon that has less fire rate, they can't really keep up with, say, an Etsujin, where it'd be a little too slow, then Ludlow obviously is going to shine there, but that's hardly ever the case. And again, the Etsujin just has so much impact per second without having like any recoil, where it won't really matter. So I would say we'll meet in the middle.
Let's do it. We'll put it right on A.
Good boy, which is, hey, that's right next to the top of the top. That's pretty damn good.
Oh yeah.
That's pretty damn nice. All right, next we have the chunkier Ludlow, some say. Chang-Chen. Good old MG. Pretty simple overall when we compare it to something like what we just went over with the Ludlow, in that it's very similar, although it's just heavier. It does have more rounds, but that's hardly ever really a big thing, especially compared to something like the Etsujin or Ludlow that already have a quick reload. So it's not like, oh yeah, now I have so many more bullets in my magazine, I won't have to reload. Yeah, but that's just more time for your recoil to be ramped up, and it doesn't really matter because the reload's already fast on the others anyway. So in that degree, it's kind of just a worse Etsujin and Ludlow. It's very cool. It's very neat.
It is.
Design.
And I think the way that the combat design, when you're going one-on-one, is there's a lot of, if your magazine is lasting longer than your energy, then it's not really a good thing anymore. Because the way that combat works is it's kind of like you go in, you get what damage you need, and then you try and move out of the range of your opponent. You don't want to be kind of like stuck in this middle ground.
Because more time, it's a big resource game. You go into a combat scenario, and with something like Chen, you're spending so much more time shooting versus dodging, while you could just be shooting with a high fire rate, not too many rounds anyway, Ludlow, and then while you're reloading, now you're on the, dodging around, spending some energy to cover your reload, and then rinse and repeat. Chang-Chen definitely extends your shooting time, so you have to be a little bit of more of a thicker boy to deal with the trade and win, or as you're saying, be super light so that your natural speed is just enough to dodge a lot of things like missiles and not have to worry about cutting off your rapid fire. So overall, it's very similar to Ludlow, Etsujin, stuff like that, but it's just a worse variant. I don't know. I would say it's very good for PvE, and that's, I guess, the kind of thing we take into consideration with some of the weapons and a lot of parts and stuff like that, is there is design for both PvE and PvP. This is really good in PvE because, again, you don't have to stop shooting for so long. You just mow down enemies. But in PvP, that's hardly a thing you need to worry about at all. It might go all the way to D. because like I can't really think of it in any other build
D,
because it's just outclassed. It's not that great on its own. It's okay. It's like mid on its own, and then it's just outdone by its competition, which lands it in D, I think.
Yeah, the good old Attache.
Yep. Which I really like, the fact that it's like barrel.
Yeah.
Not only ejects when you reload, but also looks like a 50 cal. It's really cool. Overall, killer design.
Yeah, I love the upside down bucket. Is what I always picture in my mind when I'm looking at this. But I actually love the design on this.
Yeah, it's not a rifle. It's not an SMG. It's kind of kind of like the Curtis.
It's kind of honestly
in between thing, but it's better than the Curtis in a lot of ways because it's just constant bullets.
Yeah.
It's a great weapon to pair with things. I see it very common with heavy kites. If you pair this with, say, a Harris or something like that, or even a Waltz, it's super nice because it's just a constant stream of decent impact and damage to constantly keep just putting something out. It's a good combo weapon. On its own, not so great.
Right. I would be happy with B tier or even A tier,
because those points are pretty much the same as the Ransetsu. Not so great on its own, great when paired, and kind of the middle between its counterpart. So yeah, B makes sense. Now, I mean, is there really much discussion necessary for the Etsujin? I mean, again, it's very much just the Ludlow, but a little bit better in that you can use it on its own in more setups and it'd be completely fine.
Yeah, I think too. I think you got to consider it as it's a meta weapon for sure.
Oh, 1000%. Until they nerf it again, it's going to stay there for a while. It's nerfed to a decent degree where the others can shine way more prominently. It's not just like, well, you're always going to be using the Etsujin. The others now have a time to shine, which is nice. But it doesn't mean that the Etsujin still isn't just technically better. Good old Minigun, the Gatlin, which is a pretty cool weapon overall. Maybe not the best, but it's pretty cool.
This weapon is another one that I really like to use. It has like a really high recoil, so you have to be kind of picky.
No arms
with what
can handle
arms
it completely.
This is a skill weapon for sure, where you have to be. You need to like know when you're going in.
Well, I guess there's two approaches
to
it. It's
let go of the trigger.
You slap 2 on and just assault boost at your enemy, firing them, and just say more bullets, or you're a more patient individual who doesn't like to let it overheat.
I think it might land a little lower, maybe C or low B for me.
Yeah, often in a lot of builds that have optimized anyway, anytime they're using the minigun, they're often it's better to either go with the Attache or just of course like a Ludlow because of what they're trying to do, which is impact a lot of stuff. Not a whole lot of builds I see with the minigun are looking to actually take advantage of the fact that the minigun's fast fire rate and almost infinite stream of bullets, as long as you manage the cooling, is great. But even if you're just doing that, it is pretty damn solid. But most cases I wouldn't really recommend it over anything outside of like an SMG or even the Attache for more range options, because the Attache is pretty much the minigun except for no obviously not the highest fire rate, which is good for the recoil control, consistent bullet pressure, and also it's just a little bit lighter, so you can get off a little more of a durable frame if you want to be lighter and dancing around them. And of course there's the spin up time it takes for the minigun.
Maybe because I'm a little biased on it, but maybe we should probably put it in D. It is kind of like not used a lot either, so not a lot of people are even comfortable using it.
Most of the times I see someone with miniguns, if I'm a light enough build or I can afford to not be super close, I like to just go in to get them to start shooting and then back away and just move to the side, because bullet velocity of these bullets are not very fast. If they're not barrel stuffing, then it's just a lot are not going to hit. A lot are just going to randomly fly, especially if they shoot both at the same time. So yeah, you really need to be a patient individual to really take advantage of the full potential of a minigun. But that potential can easily be simulated way easier without the patience by something like the Attache, or again just an SMG like Ludlow. Yeah, I'm gonna have to put it in D, I think. Chen, I don't know. No, I think C, because I can actually think of some good use cases for the Handgun in PvP. Like when I used it with my cosplay build for the Atlin, it's pretty damn solid. You can just slap. Thing is, okay, that's the kind of thing. With the minigun, you can slap on 2 of these, and you can just run in and turn off your brain and just go full monkey bullets, and you'll have decent results against quite a few builds, as long as you're not fully just falling for them and overheating constantly. To C I think feels pretty right.
I'm happy with C.
Now we're getting to the shotguns. We got the Holderman. Look at the
All
Holderman,
right.
little brother of the Zimmy, which used to just be that, just the neglected little runt of the shotguns. Well, next to the Sweet 16, but even the Sweet 16 had its niche with drive-by and staggers. But now, in recent times, Ludlow or the Holdermans actually has a pretty good place alongside the Zim, especially with this more stagger extending potential with the Holderman because of its faster fire rate. Yeah, you slap two of these on reverse joints. Yeah, you can just kick, holy kick. It's so fun. It's so good.
Yeah, you're like, wow, the reload on this is so much fun. And it doesn't have that, like, what I like about it is it doesn't have as much of a show like the Zimmerman does. Like when it pulls up, you kind of like know to move out of the way. Where the Holderman is a little harder to see that. So
yeah, pretty much any major archetype when it comes to Zims, like Power Baka, Chimp, or Zim shotgun, or Zim shield, I mean, the Holderman can also do those exact same things to a pretty similar degree. I would say it definitely falls short in comparison to the Zim when it comes to combo potential with other weapons, at least. The Zim can do everything the Holderman can do, while obviously being a little slower but a little stronger. But because it's a little stronger, you can pair with something like double melee, so like charge pulse blade into Zim and then they're staggered instantly, and then you pull it with another melee or something like that. The Holderman is fantastic, would be S, but because it has a counterpart being the Zim that's a little better than it in the sense that it has more other weapon combo potential, I would say A for Holderman.
Yeah.
Oh wait, Zim's already next anyway. I was about to say we might as well just rank the Zim real quick because we're basically just talking about it.
It's one of those auto S rank.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
kind of weapons.
You take it on its own, it's goated. You put two of them, it's insane. You pair with other things, it's insane. All right, but now we have the Sweet 16, the last shotgun. Drive-by notorious one-shot stagger. To a degree. Sometimes you pair two of these and just assault boost right in, just at the right distance, and just pow, double shot, stagger a lot of medium to lightweights, which is pretty funny. It's cool with this niche, does a lot of direct hit, it's as great as a stagger punish, and it has a lot of impact if you land everything. But you have to be so close, where you might just miss because the enemy's dodging. It's way easier to dodge things when it's closer, or you barrel stuff and actually shoot past them, or you hit some of the pellets, but not all of them hit.
On the tier list goes, I would say it's the hardest shotgun to use. In my opinion, B, because it does get outshined by the consistency of the other ones. But, and again, like, it does take a little bit more skill to utilize it.
I think it's kind of a C weapon, similar to the minigun.
C?
Yeah, similar to the minigun. It has its counterparts where, things like the Ludlow are better than the Hellben at, impact and stuff like that, where the Zim and Holderman are better at overall being a shotgun than the Sweet 16. But the Sweet 16 does have its cool uniqueness of being so much impact at close range, so much damage on the direct hit. It has its unique traits that keep it from just being like, oh, D, the other shotguns are better. But for the most part, if you use it like any other normal shotgun, it's not going to be anywhere as good. But if you use it to its unique strength, similar to how you use the Hellben to its unique strength, it can be pretty cool. So with that, that's my logic. I actually
agree with that.
Or C.
For C it is. C we go. I agree. Actually, I agree with that.
All right, now we have a pretty good one, pretty fun one too. We have the Crooklet. Yeah, it's kind of similar to the Sweet 16. It's a bit of a demon. You get close and just spray and pray. It can really rack up the impact.
Yeah.
Range and bolt velocity has always been the plague of the Ducket and Kukulit, which is why I don't really understand. Well, I get, but I think they didn't do a good job of it. They nerfed the Ducket. The Ducket used to be, when they first buffed it, it was all the rage. A lot of people were running it for the first time and really just using it a lot because it was really good and it is really good. Thing is, it still was pretty bad in that its recoil is pretty high, so you needed good arms to handle it, which isn't that big a deal. You can run the Melander, be fine, or Mind Alpha. But its bullet velocity and range were its two biggest downsides, still the biggest downsides, even when it was buffed. So if you're fighting a kite, good luck for the most part, unless you can assault boost in a lot. But if they're like a lamb boat or a lamb rat or something like that, then yeah, good luck, because you're just going to chase after them, not do anything until you're up close to them. But by the time you're close to them, you're probably already getting pelted with missiles, so that's kind of rough. And the Kukulit's
and then
very similar, but it's just less damage, higher fire rate, which higher fire rate needs to be better arms for recoil, or you need to be a little more patient. But at that rate, you might as well be using an SMG like the Ludlow or the Eszujin, because now you don't have to worry about the recoil. It's very similar to the Sweet 16 in that it's just you run close and try to barrel stuff and then get the quick stagger. If you're fast, you want to stick on them like glue and run the risk of say, hey, I don't have as much health as you, but I know I have more impact than you, so I'm just gonna rush in and get it. It's not great for overall versatility of survival, but it's really good at that niche of I'm just gonna get close, I'm gonna stagger you quick, and I'm gonna melee punish you. I'm probably gonna take way more damage, but if I can get you staggered, I know my melee is gonna make all the damage, and hell, I might just win. Right then and there.
Yep, exactly.
I would think overall, B rank, B tier, either one makes sense because it's not as great as the SMGs, which are just above it in rank, but it does really have its really strong niche of getting close and just spraying, praying, and of course it is very nice to be comboed with its higher rank SMG counterparts.
Yeah, I think Coquillet B rank makes sense to me.
All right, now the big chungless variant, my glorious ducket. I really like the ducket. Ever since they buffed it and I played with it more, I just fall in love. I don't care that it's nerfed. It's still very, very good and very fun. I enjoy it.
Yeah, and I've seen this playing like in my A rank promos and in S rank and in like even in PvE. I've used it a lot. It has that big impact on the shot, and you don't have to shoot a lot of it.
Recoil is pretty high, but if you're using arms like Melander anyway, you probably won't really notice. But also at the same time, because of its lesser fire rate compared to the Kukulit, it doesn't really matter because like the fire rate helps mitigate some of the higher recoil anyway. So if you're running things like this on Melander arms with something like an SMG, although don't do it with the Ludlow, try it with the Etsujin, otherwise your recoil is just going to be non-existent. But you can pretty much just about get away with a ducket and an Etsujin and have a really good time if you want to rock it with something else. Ultimately, I would say the ducket's just the better Kukulit.
Yeah,
if you just want like a little impact weapon with something else, and they would be pretty damn solid.
I would say that you could put it in B above Coquillet, or you could put it in A, whichever
put it all the way in A. All right, but now we have the Sampu, the burst handgun, which is it's a bit of a rough one. Honestly, I can hardly ever recommend this. This is Rusty's little handguns, little micro SMG. I can never recommend this. Anytime I see it on a build, I always swap it out to something else because it is cool, I guess, but like its burst makes its recoil overall is just really, really bad. So you put this on anything, especially if you have some like budget arms when it comes to recoil control, even with Melander, it's still just not really worth it. It's just, it ramps your recoil up so much. It doesn't necessarily outperform anyway, ever things like the Etsujin or the Ludlow. I don't know, man. It's just like almost like my mind immediately thinks, just like B, or even, I don't know about E. E feels pretty harsh, considering when I think about the E and F, those are probably like vertical missiles, because those are just like, why would you ever run those? It's just the worst of the SMG class, as you know, this is burst handgun. Like, I can never see myself using it over any of those. So,
I think that this weapon has absolutely no love in my garage. I guess
D rank makes sense. It's usable in that you can use it as an alternative for the other SMGs or ducket, but I can't ever see myself recommending it. Honestly, the more I think about it, trash. It's E. It's the first E. I just can't think of anything good to say about it. I can at least think of something good with the Chang-Chen. Oh, it's good PvE. AR, it's good early game PvE, I guess. Scudder, it's very similar to the Tanner. So by that definition, it's solid. But the Sampu, I just can't think of anything redeemable, man. It's rough. All right, last Kinetic primary weapon. We got the good old Viento.
The Viento.
Oh my god, it's so funny.
Used to be.
The Viento is literally what we were just kind of talking about. It is the Sampu. Or it's what we want for the Sampu. It is a close range barrel stuff, pretty much. Fast fire rate, low magazine, where you just pow, 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 reload, pow, 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 reload constantly. It is literally that.
This is a good one.
It's still a very
Rusty
good.
Rusty was smart by picking this up instead of the Sampu.
Instead of the Sampu, makes sense.
This is another one too where you just want to run it because it looks so damn awesome.
It's just little needles.
It's a cool weapon.
It's cool. It's pretty much our synergy for B rank, pretty much. Yeah. Very similar to the ducket. It's honestly just a faster ducket. Faster, less recoil ducket, but less impact as well. All right, but yeah, that is the impact based or kinetic damage based primary tier list, indubitably.
Yeah.
This goal was part one of the overall weapons
Awesome.
tier list, indubitably. So yeah,
That
thank
was
you
so
so much,
cool.
Hala, for joining me, sharing your thoughts. Always good to have second opinions, and definitely a very good, well-versed opinion in these type of weapons as well, as you play a lot of PvP. You and your brother going to A rank, ranking it up together, hosting plenty of lobbies, getting your coaching in your comms work, learning a lot. It's really cool to see. It's really, really good stuff, and it helps inform your opinion when it comes to stuff like this. So it's very valuable to any new players. It's a good time. Hell yeah.
Thank you. And I really appreciate you having me on. And I hope everyone likes our tier list.
Exactly.
Or at least has some really nice opinions on it. That would be really cool. I can't wait.
If anyone has agreements for different reasons that we didn't mention or disagreements, feel free to definitely let us know. Keep it civil, and then it's all epic sauce. Indubitably. And that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. And of course, a huge shout out to my channel members, my Egg Crusaders, Arch, Shadow, Metal, Magpie, Hollow, Turbler, and Ronin. Thank you all so much for becoming channel members. Y'all truly make this content possible. And yes, I hope you all have yourselves a very, very good one. Peace, and thank you.